This is the new top-of-the-line sports SUV by Audi, the Audi RS Q8. We'll fill you in with all the details on exterior, interior, and what's under the hood. Let's go. In the front, we can see this big mask here around the grille. The normal Q8 already looks sporty. This one here even sportier with the accentuations in the lower part, bigger air intakes and so on. And this mask is in carbon fiber. This is one of 3 design packages. You can either get the standard one with the gray, then optional is carbon, or you can also get a shiny black frame, so you can just pick them. And you can also choose if you want to have the Audi rings in black or normal silver one. Headlamps start from LED, and optional this one here, the Matrix LED. 5 meters and 1 or 197 inches is the length of the RS Q8, so a little bit longer than normal Q8 just because of the different spoiler overhang in the front and in the rear. This color here, by the way, today is called Java Green, probably referring to the jungle. Then we have this carbon package here where we also have those caps for the mirrors. 22-inch wheels would be standard for the RS Q8. Those ones are the option 23-inch. I mean, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm not sure if they want to stop at some point. Of course, you do lose some comfort here when you go for a bigger wheel size because you have less tire left. But overall, you still have the adaptive air suspension as standard. It varies about 9 centimeters up and down depending on the off-road setting or the faster setting when you drive faster and have it in normal niveau or then the sports niveau. So you can vary it from the inside as well, and the car also does something automatically. What other technology highlights are there? Well, there's the rear axle steering, which is standard for this one here, the RS Q8. 5 degrees steering in the opposite direction as the front wheels to make it more agile, reducing the turning circle to about a meter reduction of turning circle, and 1.5 degrees in the same direction when you drive at some higher speeds. Optional, you can also get the anti-tilt control, so it basically works against the tilting of the car, and also a sports differential for the rear, but those ones are optional. Well, yeah, it's so high in the price already. I think they could have made it all standard equipment then. You can also optionally get carbon ceramic brakes, which you can also see right here with different colors for the contrasting brake calipers. But again, also an option. Then the side strip of the Q8, what makes it special here, a little bit falling roofline, but it's not as extreme as with other SUV coupes, and this one also does not have this round shape. That's why I like the Q8 really in design. Stronger shoulders right here, so it looks somewhat angular, and this therefore, a very interesting choice if you compare it to a BMW X6 or Mercedes GLE coupe. This one here definitely looks more angular than the competitors. In the rear, the Q8 has this light strip going all over the vehicle, stressing the width. Here with this carbon package, this one here is carbon fiber, and also the lower part, black Audi rings again, you can pick those. And then the lower part here with the big diffuser for the RS model together with a special exhaust. There are actually 4 exhausts overall. It's on the inside here, and then this one is the beauty tip. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little bit ridiculous to make it that big on the outside. And this one is also the performance exhaust. We'll soon also listen to the sound. So you might remember the review with the SQ8 with 8J with the 4-liter diesel. This one, however, is a V8 bi-turbo petrol engine, 600 horsepower, also 4-liter of displacement and 800 newton meters of torque. Yeah, that's 100 newton meters of torque less than with the SQ8, but that's typical in the diesel-petrol comparison. This one here needs 3.8 seconds to 100 kilometers or 62 miles now, and that's pretty massive. Also, if you take a look at the competitors, for example, a Porsche Cayenne Turbo is actually approximately in the same range, even 0.1 seconds slower than this one. So massive power. Yeah, above that would be only the Lamborghini probably, but you know that this one is probably, almost the same vehicle. They use the same platform, and Lamborghini gets all the parts from Audi. Well, nice engine cover here. This is of course just a plastic, but then you have the RS badge here together with some red accentuations. And the all-wheel drive is still a real deal. So 40% front, 60 in the rear. Permanent all-wheel drive with a converter automatic gearbox. They call it Tiptronic at Audi. So you have the rear wheel bias also with this car. This is the car key. RS badge at the other side. The doors optionally come with a soft close, like this. And the special thing about the Q8 is the lower roofline, and one measure that was possible for that was also here, the frameless windows. Very interesting. That gives definitely some coupe style. At the inside of the doors we find a good build quality. Everything is wrapped tightly. The carbon fiber inserts together with some Alcantara, very cozy. Reasonable door pockets and an optional Bang & Olufsen sound system which delivers a very decent sound indeed. RSQ8 entry badge in the lower part, also together with RS floor mats, like those details. And then there's the Alcantara steering wheel, so my favorite piece of this vehicle, delivers a good grip and also is a contrast definitely to the rest of the seat layout. In general, you can get a base sport seat, as we know it also from the SQ8, then with Alcantara on the middle parts. They already have some accentuated shoulders. This one here is the optional RS sport seats with integrated head restraint. And this is all from animal skin. Audi claims to be a more sustainable company now, but so things like those show that they clearly are not. They have not understand what's going on in 2019. So, and then the rest you can see there's ambient lighting, already a little bit bright today here, but there will be nice ambient lighting at night where you can also switch the colors. Getting inside is pretty easy. This even door sill at the lower part, this is characteristically for this platform here, Q7, Q8, Volkswagen Touareg, Porsche Cayenne, and so on. So that always guarantees a very easy entry into the car. This one here, of course, a little bit lower as a sports version, but you still have this upright SUV seating position. And with this steering wheel here with Alcantara, great size and grip. And I immediately feel I want to drive this car. And you might remember from earlier reviews where we've driven the Q8 in different versions. This is really a driver's SUV, and it masters a very good compromise between comfort and sportiness. Is that also true for the RS Q8? Well, we cannot find out today, but we will surely find out very soon for you, so stay tuned here. Then headroom, this is with the panoramic roof and still leaves some headroom with 1.86 m or 6'1". It will be a little bit more headroom if you leave out the panoramic roof. However, it also, has a cool feature that you can get more light into the car. The seating comfort here is reasonably good, because you have this upright seating position. If you want more comfort, again, stay with the base sport seats because they let you move around a little bit more freely. They are less stiff as for the surface, especially if you get them with the Alcantara, because here it's quite stiff from the surface. And those, cool looking quilting structures, they look cool, but they make the seating experience stiffer. So it's the choice then if you want more visual stuff or if you want more comfort in driving. Also, the base Q8 gets this layout here, and that means, especially for the RS now, everything in the top trim, 12.3-inch virtual cockpit, 10.1-inch top screen, 8.6-inch lower screen, and that's always like this. A lot of black piano lacquer use. This collects a lot of fingerprints, so you always have to clean with a microfiber towel. Then you can look at this steering wheel right there. There's a new RS mode button and exclusive for this car. So when you press this one, you can actually change the virtual cockpit to a special view. It changes also a lot of other characteristics. I'll soon show you what those are in this screen right there. Then the automatic shifting gear is like this. You pull it backwards to put in a gear. Well, buttons, there's this button left here on the right side for the volume. There's this camera mode button. This is pretty cool. Also offers a 3D view around the camera. Just at the right side at the moment, we have one door open, but here you can really check that you don't damage those precious alloys. Just the color is obviously not transported all over. Then some cup holders here in the lower part, all adaptive. And let's get into the details of the screens. Then details to the screen. Here, nice GPS view. This is a night view here at the moment, but it reacts quite responsive. Then if we go to the main menu, all done via touch right here. And I always recommend to get a smartphone feedback that you can just press once. There's also this haptic feedback that you press really deep into the screen, but that's really annoying after a while. This RS monitor here has special gauges, for example here, G-forces, but then here also temperatures you can see for gear oil, brake disc and so on, tire pressure loss indicator, and then there's a tilt angle display for degrees. Very interesting for those. And then if you are in the drive select, dynamic mode makes the car stiffer, then also puts down the suspension, and then you have those special RS gauges right there. There it is. And then you can change everything, drive system, suspension, steering, engine sound, sport differential if you have it. And that is possible for 2 RS modes, RS1 and RS2. And then you can press it on the steering wheel and directly access it to be even more flexible as for that. In the lower part, you control the AC unit, but doing that while driving is somewhat dangerous. You have to look down and you can do it like this or just press them. But, you know, I prefer to have a real knob then for that still. However, you can also control it with the voice. Set temperature to 21 degrees.
I'll increase the temperature to 21 degrees.
So that does work. Maybe that's a solution to that while driving. And then the seat heating control is also right here. And the drive select, yeah, you know, that's placed below here. Also not so easy to access it while driving. But then again, you have here the RS button at the steering wheel. So that's a solution, at least here for the RS Q8. You can have the GPS map in the middle, or you can go all the way. So from left to right. That's pretty cool and the best use of those virtual instruments. And interesting is also, this is the normal view then, you can have those RS mode buttons and then it changes to this RPM view. This is then the first one and the second one is also available. Then you have, the lowering down is activated for the second RS mode at the moment. So you can set that one. Not sure if you've seen it on camera, but the car drops down at the moment. Yeah, so funny live experience here on Autogefuehl. Here you can see one more of the ambient lighting, and then this middle armor is really interesting because it goes up a little bit forward like this. Interesting, you know, mechanism. And then you can put it all the way up. It's very well attached. And below that, there's an inductive charging platform for your smartphone and 2 classic USB devices. One very interesting detail is here, just a minor thing, but it's a frameless back mirror and it's very well to see through it and it looks elegant. Getting inside, very interesting that this one here is the lowest position of the rear window. And the advantage of those SUVs here, Q8, Q7 and so on, is you have more legroom at the same length. For example, A6, A7 and so on. So sedans and Avants here, there's plenty of legroom left right here. And even if seating position is set to my size, headroom, there's still some headroom left right there, so no problem. Even in the Q8, it has this somewhat lower falling roofline, but no problem if you compare it to the Q7. And then you can also vary this angle of the back part of the seat, and you can also vary the rear bench right here. So pretty flexible as for that. So this one is a quite practical sports SUV indeed, especially in the rear, and the seating position is upright and very comfortable here, so I would rather sit here than in one of those, you know, big luxury sedans. Well, sitting here in the middle seat, it is actually possible. Headroom wise, yeah, that's coming very close then here, but you know, you can do it for a shorter period of time. It has, of course, all-wheel drive, this car, and therefore there's also this tunnel, but since it's an SUV, it's not that high. Then there's optional 4-zone AC unit with nice clicking sounds, even for the rear, and third and fourth USB slot in the lower part next to a 12-volt power socket. Last but not least, there's also this armrest with adaptive cup holders, and you can also use the whole part here. Where is it? There it is. So use the whole part as a ski hatch, important for alpine regions. Of course, we'll take a look now at the trunk, how that looks like when it's all folded. And what about this panoramic roof? First of all, you can use this shade on really hot summer days, like today. Yeah, I mean, sometimes those recordings and with the embargoes, so when the videos are released, are not really matching. Therefore, it can be sometimes strange with the temperatures. So, and then here, We can also open this one. It's not only a static one. Here we go, and leave some more light right in here. Let's see how far it opens. Yeah, that's like that. So let's open the hatch, and this is about 605 liters. So very well usable. You're of course limited a little bit in height here if you compare it to a Q7, but that's about it. You can see here this top part automatically comes up when you open it. But then again, see here when you close it, it doesn't come down again. So that's better with the Avant, for example, of the Audi A6. Then here in width is about a meter in the lower part and a little bit wider in the upper part. The limiting factor is just right here at the very beginning. It's about 40 centimeters and right there. And the length here to the normal seating is about 1.5 meters. But you remember that we can also slide forward the whole bench like this, and then you're a little bit more flexible as for that. Then you're about, almost 120 in meters. And then you can see you can flip everything, of course, already flip this side. You have to go around right here. You cannot do it from the trunk like this. This is then the maximum setup, about 1,755 liters. And then it should be about 2 meters we can go through to the front seats. And almost 2 meters, a little bit less. So indeed, it proves once more that you can do a lot with this car, not only racing, but also loading. And now to the conclusion for today with the Audi RS Q8. What have they done in the exterior? Of course, making it more aggressive, typical for an RS model. But since the Audi Q8 in the base version is already quite aggressive, it's not the biggest difference as probably with other vehicles. But definitely still works in the styling. Of course, you don't have to pick the green color. You can also pick a just more normal one. Then on the interior, great build quality. They have not done so much about sustainability there in the interior. They still have to do that. Other than that, you can very well use a Q8 also space or room-wise. So this coupe style shape is not that much limiting as with other competitors. And also if you compare it to a Q7, it's still a very well usable car. And we've experienced with other versions of the Q8 and it has a really great handling. And I'm looking forward, if that's also the case with the RS Q8, that it still masters the compromise between comfort and sportiness. So looking forward to that. Also with the performance of this engine. They have added here a mild hybrid system and cylinder deactivation. Will that also bring better fuel economy? We'll see about that. We will both test the performance side, but of course also the fuel economy side when we are able to drive this very vehicle. What do you think overall about this one here? It definitely makes more sense than the Lamborghini. That's for sure, also price-wise. But of course, if you compare it to a base Q8, it will be way more expensive. And I think still that the Q8 with the 3-liter TFSI is still also a very good choice and definitely better in price performance. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and also stay tuned for the driving review of this one. And we will also link some more interesting videos in the video description and in the comments. Please subscribe if you haven't done so far. See you next time.